Personal story, 1996. Blaze's the shit. Danger is the joint. Trigger the Gambler's doing things. I go to a block party type of joint in Brooklyn. I want to see Blaze Danger. I see for the first time this new group, Company Flow. I see this crazy cat with the goatee, fully Brooklyned out, the camouflage and everything. I remember that kid that was on stage. Years later now, you're a CEO and all that. How much of that kid that I saw on stage in 96 is in this cat right here?
Yeah, I mean, that kid is there, but he just became a fucking man, Right. And that's who I am. That's a part of who I am, and that always, that's the way I came up, really. And you saw me during the time when I was just getting my grimy hands on hip hop, and for the Company Flow era, that was about coming out and swinging wildly, just trying to make a name for ourselves and just trying to lay it down like we're the nastiest cats you ever heard. Right. That was what we thought. You know what I mean? Like we just need to prove ourselves, and that was all I focused on. As I got older, my ideas shifted. I changed. I always followed my heart in terms of the way that I wanted to think and the way that I wanted to create. And I just think it would be a waste of time for me to try and recreate something that isn't right. natural anymore. It's like, look, I'm not the battle MC anymore. Right. I spent 10, 15 years of my life being that dude, right. and then I made a record. Right. And then it was like, after a while, to me, it just opened up. Music just opened up, and all of a sudden I find myself at 30, 31, yep. fucking battling other things, right. and there just seem to be a lot, bigger ideas out there that are in my head and taking, serious, priority in the way that I think. And I refuse to just be a fake dude. I refuse to be the cat who just pretends that he's something that he's not, or the pathetic dude who keeps trying to recreate one moment. You know what I mean? Right. I just keep looking forward, and it's like I love all those factions of my life and my career, and I'm glad that there are people who like you who are around and who can testify to the fact that yes, that was where I came up through. That was exactly the way I came up. But obviously, I'm just the type of cat who just keeps going,
And speaking of keep going, to wrap it up, I'll Sleep When You're Dead. Classic album, but beyond that, 4 years in the making. Just real quickly, can you just walk us through the trials and tribulations? I could have got a fucking college degree in that time. You must have got a degree, and I mean, what happened in those 4 years? Jesus Christ!
You fucking put it like that, yeah. Damn. Yeah, that was amazing. I could have gotten a high school degree that I never got. Well, it wasn't really 4 years in the making. It was more like 2 years in the making. I mean, I did Fantastic Damage. I toured for about a year. Then I fucking didn't want to see anyone anymore because after you tour for a year, you're like a shell of a man. Right. Then I produced a jazz album. I did a score for a film. I produced the Cage record, produced the Mr. Lift record. I did a shitload of remixes. I did an instrumental collection. And tried to run a label, and then took my sweet ass time basically making the record. And that's just me, It won't happen again like that, though. Okay. It definitely won't. But it just unfolded that way. And I think it was fine and unfolded that way because, for me, it's better to have something to say, right. than to just force out something, simply. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just like I have the luxury of having had some time to really just spend making this album, and I really just crafted it, and I knew that it was important for me to make a record that was genuine and that was good and that was a next step for me. And I don't know if I would have released a record right after Fantastic Damage, I don't know if it would have been what it is. You know what I mean? I needed to, a lot of shit happened in my life and in everyone's life and in the world, and a lot of that just soaked into my being and created the person sitting here today, and that's the person now that you're hearing on the record, and I'm glad to have done that. That being said, there's no fucking way I'm waiting 5 years again. Right, there's no fucking way.
I feel you. And there you have it. You're not going to be waiting. UndergroundHipHop.com, LP, Album in stores immediately. I'll sleep when you're dead. And he's speaking so eloquently right now. He's a fucking beast on stage. You see him in London. You see him worldwide. He's coming to your town. LP, Definitive Jux.